We're a couple days out from the 2024 NFL Draft. This is my final mock draft. We got some trades. I didn't go too crazy, even though they are saying that trades are going to happen a lot around the top 10. I can't wait for the draft. I can't wait to see what goes down. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, starting off with the Chicago Bears. This one's been set in stone for a long time now. Ever since Caleb Williams' pro day, he basically said that he was a Chicago Bear at that point. So, Caleb Williams from USC, first overall pick for the Chicago Bears. They get their franchise quarterback. And let's see what we could do with that team. Alright, Washington Commanders, I got Jayden Daniels out of LSU. I know there's kind of, bit of chatter of Daniels not wanting to be a Commander, and then the GM saying or questioning if he should draft Daniels. But I still got him going to the Commanders. I mean, Daniels won the Heisman Trophy. His comp is Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson is an MVP player. So passing up on him will be either, well, if you pass up on him, he does turn out good. It'll be a big stain for the GM and the Washington Commanders. And if he turns out bad, then it is what it is, The Patriots. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because the Patriots have the opportunity to trade the third overall pick for multiple picks, either in this year's draft or next year's draft, or they could stay and draft their franchise quarterback, You got a team like the Minnesota Vikings who are going to be desperate to, trade up for their quarterback. So they're going to be working them big time. Obviously, you're getting the 11th overall pick and the 23rd overall pick, but how much more can you get? Can you get next year's first round pick, the year after that, and possibly even more? Because the Patriots, they have an opportunity to draft their franchise guy. They could draft, why not? Why should I give you my pick where I could be drafting my own franchise? That's kind of like the mindset they got. But I believe the Patriots are going to want too much from the Minnesota Vikings, so they're going to stick with the pick. And with that, they're selecting McCarthy out of Michigan. Staying with the Michigan quarterbacks, Tom Brady was from Michigan. He became the GOAT. And obviously, McCarthy, he's going to be filling that role that Tom Brady has left. They haven't had a franchise guy since he's left. Arizona Cardinals is a no-brainer. Marvin Harrison Jr. out of Ohio State, generational receiver. If you trade back, you won't be able to get a receiver like Marvin Harrison after this pick right here. This is the only opportunity you got. So I have the Arizona Cardinals pulling the trigger, getting their number one receiver for Kyle Murray. All right. The 5th overall pick, Los Angeles Chargers. They could go multiple directions. They could go tackle, they could go receiver, or they could trade it back, and I believe they will do that. Minnesota Vikings, again, are desperate to trade up for a quarterback. Minnesota Vikings get this pick, giving up the 11th overall and the 23rd overall, and the Chargers probably get even more out of it, to be honest. Next year's draft, and possibly, the Vikings don't even have a 3rd round pick, so it'll be next year's draft class where the Chargers get more picks in. So Chargers trade back 11th, 23, and some in next year's draft class, and the Minnesota Vikings get their guy Drake Mayo out of North Carolina. McCown coached Mayo in high school. They wanted this guy for a long time, man. They had their eyes on him for a while, so they get the guy at number 5. Alright, the New York Giants. So we got 4 quarterbacks off the board already. Williams, Daniels, JJ, Mayo, and I have my 5th one going right now. Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington. Receiver is a great pick right here. It is. You get top receiver, Ndunze, Neighbors, but Michael Penix Jr. and the amount of quarterbacks that are going off the board right now, I think the GM's going to pull the trigger on a quarterback. Michael Penix Jr., great guy, tough, ball pops out of his hand, he's a leader. The only negative that he has is that he's 25 years old and that his injury history as well. Tennessee Titans, I got them going with Joe Alt, Notre Dame. This one is a no-brainer. The only thing that I would, argue is Brock Bowers, because him and Will Levis, they're going to have that chemistry. It's a fun duo to watch if that would happen. But Joe O out of Notre Dame, safe pick, and this guy's ceiling is literally a Hall of Fame. You can't really pass that up, All right, Atlanta Falcons, going with Dallas Turner out of Alabama. Guy needs some work. Guys, the guy has some work to do, but his potential is very, very high. Obviously, Will Anderson was his teammate. That's what the Atlanta Falcons are trying to replicate right here, is hoping that he could become like Will Anderson and get that pressure on the quarterback, but I believe he's going to need to do some work before he gets to that level. The Chicago Bears, the second pick in the first round, they could look to trade back with this one, possibly getting a first-round pick in next year's draft, or using it to get an edge or receiver or whatever they so see. I have them getting Roman Dunze, getting the number one receiver for Williams, and you might be saying, well, they have DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, 3 to 4 legit receivers on your team. We pass the ball a lot of DBs out there on the field already. You get Roman Dunze, he becomes your number one guy, and he becomes your franchise receiver. Keenan Allen probably could be there for only 2 years. DJ Moore, he probably could re-sign after he plays out his contract, but Roman Dunze is going to be Williams' dude from the get, He's going to be your franchise receiver. The Jets, I have them going with the shocker. Everybody has the Jets going with the tight end. Brock Bowers was this pick with, for Aaron Rodgers. Tight end could help pass block, run block, and he could be that dump off, guy for Aaron Rodgers. But I have him going with Arnold at Alabama, and I'm committing fully to this defense for the Jets. Look at their defense right now. You got Sauce Gardner, you got Reed. We bumped Reed down to the slot. I believe he'll play phenomenal in the slot. He could tackle, great in coverage, and they add Arnold to that group. They look at their rushers, Reddick, Johnson, McDonald, Quinton Williams, and then I don't know who the other D-tackle guy is, but you got C.J. Mosley, Quincy Williams, and then I don't know the safeties either, but you got legit guys on this defense. This is a real nightmare defense right here, and like they say, defense wins championships. And again, Aaron Rodgers is not guaranteed. He's not guaranteed to be healthy throughout the whole season, yet in the playoffs if you make it that far, So I'm committing to the defense, and I'm going to have them win a championship for us. They're going to be the reason why we win a Super Bowl. It's because of our defense. All right, Minnesota Vikings, they traded up for the quarterback, so the Los Angeles Chargers have this pick, and I got them going with a receiver, Malik Neighbors out of LSU. Neighbors, number one receiver for the Chargers. They get their guy out of receiver. Lost Keenan Allen. They lost Mike Williams. Neighbors fits that role real good, and then you got Johnson alongside him, so you got some guys right there. All right, Denver Broncos, you got 5 quarterbacks off the board already. Bo Nix is the guy. Bo Nix is a perfect fit for Sean Payton. Sean Payton's a quarterback guru. I think Bo Nix is just going to be a sponge with him, and they could make it'd be a huge duo, a quarterback and a head coach duo. So I would like to see that right there. And the Las Vegas Raiders, I got another shock of a pick right here. I think Penix Jr. or an offensive tackle is what most people have mocked right here. I got him going D-tackle, Murphy out of Texas. And again, committed on defense, committing to that aggressive mindset. We're gonna hit your quarterback every single play, and we're gonna pressure him, create sacks, create turnovers by that. We got Christian Wilkins in free agency. We're getting Murphy in the draft. Crosby is our guy already, one of the best edge rushers in the league. And then we got Wilson in last year's draft, and who we have to hope he develops, because that's a first-round pick. I think a top first-round pick as well. So we add Murphy to this group right here, and it's a scary one. And the Raiders going to be a tough defense for quarterbacks to play against. All right, the Saints. I say this every time. The Saints have the toughest, like scenario, the toughest position, because they need help offensively on the offensive line. They need help defensively on that defensive line. It's very tough to be in. Tough position to be in. I have them going Troy Fautanu, but then I realized that Brock Bowers is on the board still. And I know they need a tackle very, very desperately. They really do. But Brock Bowers' talent is just too good to pass up on. Like, we're talking about a franchise tight end right here. A guy who's going to break records. A guy that's going to compete every single game. And obviously the quarterback is Derek Carr. Is not a long-term guy. But Brock Bowers, and he's going to be a guy for a long time for the Saints. So that's why I got them passing on tackle. Hopefully they could address in the next rounds. But Brock Bowers' talent too good to pass on. All right, Indianapolis Colts, I got him going the same person as last mock draft. Mitchell out of Toledo. Guy's done it all, man. He showed out at the Senior Bowl. He showed out at the Combine. He's probably pissed that he wasn't the first corner out of this draft class. But, hey, he goes to Indianapolis. They got to get some guys that need to cover Stephon Diggs. And the Jags have some guys as well. So, and Titans got guys as well, too. They got Hopkins, Ridley. Jags got Davis and Kirk is probably like the weaker one right there. Davis and Kirk. And then Hopkins and Ridley, and then Diggs, Tank. That's a tough group right there. So, yeah, the Colts got to go corner. It's Mitchell right there. And that's a great pick right there. Seattle Seahawks. I got him going with Latu. I just feel like he fits with that Seattle culture. You can move him inside, you can move him outside. Legit football player, man. Love his instincts. The only question mark for him is his health. That's why he's going to be falling in the draft, is because of his health. But everything else, I believe he's the best pass rusher in this year's draft class. Seahawks need that guy that's going to get consistent pressure, and Latu is that guy. Jacksonville Jaguars. They're in a tough spot, man. They could go multiple directions because tons of guys have fallen. You got Funga out of Oregon State. This guy should be selected in the top 10 for sure. My comp for him is literally Lane Johnson. That's what I see in him. He could be that top tackle in the league. First, one of my guys out of this year's draft class. And then we got Fossey. Is his name? That's his name, right? Fossey out of Penn State. He's a tackle. I believe you move him to guard, you get a legit guard for your franchise. Like, he's your franchise guard. That's what I see in him. And then Wiggins and Kool-Aid, obvious picks for the Jaguars, go corner. They need help desperately. And then, like I said, for the Colts, it's the same thing I say for the Jags. That receiving core for every person or every team in this division is very, very good. And then the new one, Mitchell, going receiver, because the Jags do need a big body receiver. Look at Davis. He's big, but he's not like that. He's more of a speed guy, you know. He is tough, though. And then you got Kirk, Washington, and then you got Duvernay, who's big as well, but he's not legit. Like, he's not an outside guy like Ndunze and all that stuff. He's not like that. Or Marvin Harris. Mitchell, I feel like, could fill that role for the Jags. But like the Jags do most drafts, they trade back, and I have them trading back with the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers make a quick pick. They select Funga, get in their right tackle, and the Charger fans and the Chargers organization is very, very happy with what they have right now. They got the number one receiver, and they got their tackle of the future, and they're very, very happy. And obviously, they're going to be trading their second round pick and possibly other stuff as well, because this is a big spot to trade in. There's lots of great guys on the field right here, or on the draft board right here. So possibly could get more than just a second round pick right there. All right, Bengals. I got them going with Xavier Worthy out of Texas. They need a receiver. Higgins possibly is gonna play for the Cincinnati Bengals. He could sit out, but I highly doubt he'll do that. I believe he'll play, but eventually he is going to be leaving the Bengals, no matter if they franchise tag him or whatever. He's eventually going to leave. So Xavier Worthy is the guy that's going to fill in his role. And obviously Boyd, I don't believe he's on the roster either. So Worthy's the guy to pick right there. Rams, I had him going corner last mock draft. I was going to go D tackle here as well because of Aaron Donald's retirement. But they have Turner, so I'm going to help the offensive line and go with Troy Fautanu out of Washington. If we could keep Stafford up and if he doesn't regress, this team will be competing in the playoffs if Stafford keeps playing at the high level he is. We get a guy that protects him, give him a little bit extra time. Troy Fautanu would be a great tackle, and I believe what's his name? I believe was McVay's offense. He fits perfectly. So I think this is a perfect scenario for Troy Fautanu. Great selection right there. Steelers. I was going to say Celtics. I don't know why. Steelers. No-brainer pick again. Taylor Guyton out of Oklahoma. They loved him at the Senior Bowl. Looked great at the Combine. But it's just the attitude and just the violence that this guy plays with, and he just fits that Steeler culture. They're going to try to run the football a lot with Najee Harris, and then that play action. So I think he just fits perfectly with what they want to do. All right, the Miami Dolphins. I was going to go... Was it corner? I don't think it was corner because they have Cam Smith. I think they're going to see what he could do, or maybe re-sign Howard. But I have him going with Newton. They lost Christian Wilkins in the drafts. Newton is pretty similar to how Wilkins plays, but the only difference I think is the only question mark for Newton is can he handle double teams. We're gonna see. Newton's a phenomenal player. I think it's a great selection by the Dolphins. Philadelphia Eagles. This one's a no-brainer. I'm going with Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. I know Philadelphia has Slay, Bradbury, but Slay's going to retire eventually. Bradbury, can he redeem himself after last year? He got a contract, played horrible last season. So Nate Wiggins is going to be, who's he going to replace? He's going to replace Bradbury, or is he going to replace Slay? Or are both Slay and Bradbury eventually going to be cut? Because if Bradbury plays horrible again this year, he's probably going to get cut. So Nate Wiggins is a easy selection for the Philadelphia Eagles. 23rd overall pick, has been traded multiple times. Once upon a time, the Houston Texans had it. Then it was the Minnesota Vikings. Then the Los Angeles Chargers. And finally, the Jacksonville Jaguars. This pick has been passed around a lot. And finally, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Verse out of Florida State. Obviously, the Jaguars have Walker, a first overall pick in the 2022 draft. But he hasn't put up the same numbers as Aiden Hutchinson. Obviously, they're two different players. Walker's kind of a developmental guy, and Hutchinson's kind of just... you can't say nothing negative about Hutchinson. Hutchinson's a dude. But Walker, he's going to take a little bit longer. And... just in my opinion, I feel like Walker is just kind of like that rotational guy, and Walker you can move inside as well. And if you move Walker inside, obviously he's not going to be there for every down. He'll be there on passing downs. You got to have an outside guy, and Verse is going to be that guy. In my opinion, Verse will be out there with Josh Allen a lot. Imagine that duo. Josh Allen and Verse. That's a scary one right there. And then rotating Walker in, Walker's good against scrambling quarterbacks, but getting his natural pass rush, he's not too great. So Verse is going to be that guy that's going to get that pressure with Josh Allen. And Cowboys, I got Latham out of Alabama. They need offensive line help. J.C. Latham is that guy. If he fails at left tackle, move him to guard. Boom. Packers, I got him going with Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. Cooper is a first-round talent. Corner. I thought he was going to go in the second round because he wasn't able to compete in the Combine and his injury. Then he did his pro day. Everybody's talking about Cooper DeJean. He's the best safety if they move him to safety. And I believe he could play corner, but they're probably going to move him to safety. But Cooper DeJean is a great fit for the Packers right here. So I got him going with that. All right, I'm gonna go with Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama. They lost Davis in free agency. Kool-Aid's gonna fill in that role. It's a great selection by the Tampa Bay Bucks, especially if he is basically the last corner. That's like a first round grade, top corner and top. He's the last top corner in this draft. Arizona Cardinals, I got him going with Fashi out of Penn State. Again, I had him mocked last time to Arizona in top 5. They get him here. I'm moving him to guard. He's gonna be a legit guard in the NFL. I believe that's a great fit for the Arizona Cardinals. You got your guy on the left side, and then you got Johnson, and then you got your Fashi at the guard position, helping Kyle Murray out, getting number 1 receiver, and getting, securing that offensive line. Buffalo Bills need a number 1 receiver. Got rid of Diggs. They possibly could trade up for a receiver. I have them staying. If they stay in this draft, I have them going with Mitchell out of Texas. He's the guy that wants to be fed. He's the guy that's going to be a legit number 1 receiver in the NFL. And I can't wait to see where he goes. And Buffalo Bills, I think, is a perfect scenario for him and for the team. All right, Detroit Lions, I have the same guy here. This is a beautiful fit for me, in my opinion. Robinson can be played inside. He can play outside. The physical, the just mentality that he has is a kneecapping Detroit Lions guy. He just fits their team, their culture. He is a perfect fit, and he's going to be a great guy for Aiden Hutchinson. They're going to be a great duo. All right. Baltimore Ravens, I got him going tackle, right tackle, Mims, Georgia. All right, 49ers, I got him going with Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson's a legit edge rusher. Get a running mate for Nick Bosa. And Chop Robinson's going to be a guy for the Niners. Kansas City Chiefs, Keon Coleman, Florida State, keeping it as the same big body guy, super fast after the catch. And again, like I said, a moss machine because they had that college basketball background. Alright, if you made it this far in this video, I really appreciate that. And I just want to know what you guys think about this mock. Let me know your opinions, what you think is going to go down on Thursday. And I can't wait. I'll see you guys the day after because I'm going to do my gradings as well for every single first round pick. So I'll see you guys then. Hope you guys enjoyed. And let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen. And I'll see you later. Peace.